Welcome. This is Purana Talk with Alan and Leon, and we're in the process of reading the Garuda Purana.
Yes, we are.
It's chapter 234 of the first skanda, or kanda, section. And
it's subtitled Achyuta, or Chakradhara Hymn. And we know Achyuta is a name for Vishnu or Krishna. And Chakradhara means the chakra wielder, the holder of the discus, if you will, the wheel. More to the point. Suta said, "O Shaunika, please listen. I shall narrate the hymn of Achyuta, which Brahma had narrated to Narada on being requested by him." Narada said, "Be pleased to tell me how the imperishable, unchanging Vishnu has to be eulogized by me, Vishnu, the granter of boons, every day at the time of adoration. Those who eulogize Achyuta constantly are the blessed. Their life is excellent. They enjoy all happiness. Their life is fruitful." Brahma said, "O sage, I shall tell you the hymn of Vasudeva that yields salvation at the time of worship. If the Lord is eulogized with this hymn, he will be propitiated." The hymn seems to begin in stanza 5. Nescafe. I feel somehow compelled to tell people what we're drinking.
Well, sure, you should know.
Have a nice beverage with the Purana chapter is my suggestion.
It's a good idea.
It's interesting to look at the pairings of Purana and beverage. Okay, let's get into it.
Unplanned. See, it's important not to plan it.
Om. Obeisance to Lord Vasudeva, obeisance to the dissipator of all sins, obeisance to him who is of pure body, knowledge, embodied, Lord of all deities, bearing Shrivatsa, having sword in his hand, bearing garland of lotuses, the base of the entire world, wearing yellow garment, Nrsimha Vaikuntha, lotus-naveled, lying in the ocean of milk, having 1,000 heads, lying upon the serpent, bearing axe in his hand, destroying the warriors of true vows, unconquerable, Lord of the three worlds, bearing discus, beneficent, the minutest, the oldest, usurper of Bali's kingdom as Vamana. Now, this was 5 through 10. In the original, though they've translated all of these, it probably would appear more to be just a list of names, because epithets by which Lord Krishna, Vasudeva, Vishnu would be known, and
they're also called appellations, where the name is really a description.
And noticing how they just left that man-lion, Vaikuntha, but Vamana is mentioned by name, all aspects. But just a thought. But
yeah, I think
they're descriptives.
Right.
And when it says obeisance, what we're getting is namaha again, which is this, sometimes translated "I bow to."
And bowing's kind of involved, but it's really honor you.
It's a kind of supplication. It's a sincere gesture of respect.
Right.
Okay, we'll continue with 11. Obeisance to the sacrificial boar. Obeisance to Govinda. Obeisance to thee, O blissful one. Obeisance to thee, the great imperishable. Obeisance to thee, the knowledge existence. Obeisance to thee, the dispenser of knowledge. Obeisance to thee, the great unbifurcated. Obeisance to thee, the best among men. obeisance to thee, the creator deity of the universe. Obeisance to thee, the conceiver of the universe. Obeisance to thee, the Lord of the universe. Obeisance to thee, the cause of the universe. Obeisance to thee, the slayer of the demon Madhu. Obeisance to thee, the slayer of Ravana. Obeisance to thee, the slayer of Kamsa and Keshin. Obeisance to thee, the suppressor of Kaitaba. Obeisance to thee, the lotus-eyed. Obeisance to thee, the Garuda emblemed. Obeisance to thee, the slayer of Kala Nemi. Obeisance to thee, seated on Garuda. The eponymous in this Purana, the Garuda Purana. All right, so there's footnotes here, and before we go on, it'd be good to just see what they are. And they're attached to these names, like obeisance to thee, the slayer of the demon Madhu. It tells us Madhu and Kaitaba, also mentioned it in footnote 3, and it says see footnote 1 if you go there. So I love things like that. Look ahead just to see. Madhu and Kaitaba were two horrible demons who, according to the Mahabharata and the Puranas, sprang from the ear of Vishnu while he was asleep at the end of a kalpa, and were about to kill Brahma, who was lying on the lotus springing from Vishnu's navel. Vishnu killed them, and hence he obtained the names of Kaitabajit, in other words, the conqueror of Kaitaba, and Madhusudana, slayer of Madhu, or something like that, very close to that. The Markandeya Purana attributes the death of Kaitaba to Uma, Shiva's spouse, and she bears the title of Kaitaba. The Harivamsha states that the earth received its name of Medini from the narrow medas of these demons. The marrow of these demons, medas. In one passage it says that their bodies being thrown into the sea produced an immense quantity of marrow or fat, which Narayana used in forming the earth. In another place it says that the Medas quite covered the earth, and so gave it the name of Medini. Well, little trivia, but interesting. Obeisance to thee, the slayer of Kamsa and Keshin. Footnote 2, in the Mahabharata, a demon who fought with and was defeated by Indra, Keshin. In the Puranas, a Daitya who took the form of a horse and attacked Krishna, but was killed by that hero's thrusting arm into his jaws and rending him asunder. And I believe I recall that story from the Bhagavata Purana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not telling us which Purana, it's just saying
no,
in the Puranas.
Doesn't tell us that.
The CDHM may be clue.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. So anyway, yes, and the slayer of Kalanemi, that's another footnote. In the Ramayana, a demon uncle of Ravana who kidnaps Sita and takes her to Lanka. At the solicitation of Ravana and with the promise of half his kingdom, he endeavored to kill Hanuman. Assuming the form of a hermit devotee, he went to the Gandhamadana mountain, and when Hanuman proceeded thither in search of medicinal drugs, the disguised demon invited him to his hermitage and offered him food. Hanuman refused, but went to bathe in the neighboring pond. Upon his placing his foot in the water, it was seized by a crocodile, but he dragged the creature out and killed it. From the dead body there arose a lovely Apsara who had been cursed by Daksha to live as a crocodile till she could be released by Hanuman. She told her deliverer to be aware of Kalanemi, so Hanuman went back to that deceiver, told him that he knew him, and taking him by the feet, sent him whirling through the air to Lanka, where he fell before the throne of Ravana in the council room. In the Puranas, he is a great demon, son of Virochana, the grandson of Hiranyakashipu. he was killed by Vishnu.
I haven't thought about Varoshana for a long time.
Yeah, well, he shows up in Tibetan Buddha's practice.
Exactly.
We're in stanza 16 now of chapter 234. Obeisance to thee, son of Devaki, obeisance to thee, scion of the family of Vrishnis, obeisance to thee, lord of Rukmini, obeisance to thee, son of Aditi, obeisance to thee, resident of Cowherd's colony, obeisance to thee, fond of Cowherd's colony. So there's a footnote to the lord of Rukmini, and Rukmini is one of Krishna's wives. Daughter of Bhishmaka, king of Vidarbha. According to the Harivamsa, she was sought in marriage by Krishna, with whom she fell in love. But her brother Rukmin was a friend of Kamsa, whom Krishna had killed. He therefore opposed him and thwarted the match. Rukmini was then betrothed to Shishupala, king of Chedi, but on her wedding day, as she was going to the temple, Krishna saw her, took her by the hand, and carried her away in his chariot. They were pursued by her intended husband and by her brother Rukmin, but Krishna defeated them both and took her safe to Dwarka, where he married her. She was his principal wife, who bore him a son, Pradyumna. By him also she had 9 other sons and 1 daughter. And all of this is familiar to us from the Bhagavata Purana. So, 18, victory to Krishna of the form of a cowherd, victory to the beloved of cowherd classes, victory to the supporter of Govardhana, victory to the promoter of cowherd's colony. Cowherd's colony. It sounds like a neighborhood, like a gated community. There's a footnote to Govardhana, a mountain in Vrindavana, where Krishna induced the cowherds and cowherdesses to worship instead of Indra. This enraged the god, who sent a deluge of rain to wash away the mountain and all the people of the country. But Krishna held up the mountain on his little finger for 7 days to shelter the people of Vrindavana. Indra retired baffled.
We have a bunch of images of this.
Yeah.
It's basically holding up the mountain.
Yeah, and this is Krishna from Nath Dwara, who's a very distinctive looking Krishna with lotus eyes and always standing in the same position because he's a stone image and they're all portraits of the image itself. How we go on. Okay, 19. Hail thee, the slayer of the powerful Ravana. Hail thee, the slayer of Chanura. Footnote 3. A wrestler in the service of Kamsa who was killed by Krishna. Hail to thee, the illuminator of the family of Vrishnis. Hail thee, the suppressor of Kaliya, serpent. A serpent king who had 5 heads and dwelt in the deep pool of the Yamuna with numerous attendant serpents. His mouths vomited fire and smoke, and he laid waste all the country round. Krishna, while yet a child, jumped into the pool, when he was quickly laced and entwined in the coils of the snakes. His companions and friends were horrified, but Balarama called upon him to exercise his divine power. He did so, and the serpents were soon overcome. Placing his foot on the mundane head of Kaliya, he compelled him and his followers to implore mercy. He spared them, but bade Kaliya and his followers to free the earth from their presence and to move to the ocean. So we're getting lots of information in the footnotes here. I don't know why he's suddenly so chatty about all these things, but
I guess he realized many people might not know who these references were.
Yeah, well, we've been going through.
We've been reading them, so we know the other Puranas a little. So.
Yeah, well, in this Purana, we haven't, had these stories,
right,
which we've been missing a bit. 20. Hail thee, the true witness of the universe. Hail thee, the achiever of all riches. Hail thee, the comprehensible to the knowers of Vedanta. Hail thee, the giver of everything, Madhava. Hail thee, the supporters of all, the unmanifest. Hail thee, the giver of everything, O Madhava. Hail thee, the unsullied in the mind. Victory be thine, the unsupported. Be victorious, O quiescent eternal. Be victorious, O Lord, the nourisher of the universe. Be victorious, O Vishnu, obeisance to thee. 23. Thou art the preceptor, O Hari. Thou art the disciple. Thou art the initiation and the group of mantras. Thou art the nyasa, the mudra. Thou art the school of theology. Thou art the flowers and other ingredients. Thou art the base. Thou art Ananta, the serpent, meaning without end. Thou art the tortoise. Thou art the earth and the lotus. Thou art virtue, knowledge, etc. Thou art the potentialities of the altar and mystic diagrams.
So I noticed poetically it shifted from hail to thee to thou art. It shifted.
Yeah, with a victory be thine in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Well, it's victory to Krishna, then hail thee,
hail
thee, victory be thine. And then it goes, thou art the preceptor, thou art the disciple, thou art this, thou art that.
Like, I bet if you were to count, you'd find victory always shows up in the same one, because even on the previous page it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the pattern.
You have a poetic structure. Right?
Yeah. Because obeisance is where we start.
Starts out with a lot of obeisances.
And then it goes to
victory, finally. Victory. Then hail, hail, hail.
Then hail.
Victory.
Right.
Then thou art, thou art, thou art.
So this is the next section.
Thou art, thou art, thou art.
Right.
It goes on, so I think we need to keep plowing through this.
Yes.
It was 22 that was the victory. 23, thou art the preceptor. Thou art the ingredients. Thou art the mystic diagram. Here we are, 25. O Lord, thou art Rama, the wielder of plowshare. Thou art the destroyer of Shambhara. In the Vedas, a demon, also called a Dasyu, who fought against King Divodasa, but was defeated and had his many castles destroyed by Indra. He appears to be a mythical personification of drought, of a kindred character to Vritra, or identical with him. In the Puranas, a Daitya who carried off Pradyumna and threw him into the well.
Yeah, I remember this story. I didn't realize that he was a personification of drought at the time, but that's very useful. Thanks for that.
And he had his castles destroyed by Indra, who became a god of rain, especially when Krishna appeared on the scene,
Which totally makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thou art the Brahmanical sage. Thou art the Lord Vishnu. Thou art true of exploits. Thou art Nrsimha, man-lion again. The ultimate bliss, Lord of the earth, Suparna, discus, club, and conch. Thou art Shri. Thou art Pushti, nourishment. Thou art the permanent Maya. Thou art Shrivatsa, Kaustuba. Thou art Sharangi, and the quiver. That's like the bow, the magical arrow of Krishna. Thou art the sword along with the leather buckler. Thou art the guardian deity, O Lord. Thou art the lord of Rakshasas. Thou art Sadhya. Thou art the wind and the moon. Thou art the lord of wealth, Ishana, Indra, Varuna, lord of the demons, Sadhya, Vayu, and the man. Thou art the Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, the Ashwins, the Maruts. Thou art the Daityas, Danavas, Nagas. Thou art Yakshas and the Khagas, the sky roamers. Thou art the Gandharvas, Apsaras, Siddhas, Pitris. Thou art the great immortal Devas. Thou art the living beings. Thou art the objects of the sense organs. Thou art the avyakta, the unmanifest to the sense organs. 32. Thou art the mind, the intellect, the ego, the soul. Thou art the Lord in the heart. Thou art the sacrifice. Thou art the Vashatkara. Thou art Omkara, the sacrificial twig and the kusha grass. Thou art the altar, O Hari. Thou art the initiation. Thou art the sacrificial post. Thou art the sacrificial fire. Thou art the Hotra, the priest making the offerings in the fire. Thou art the Yajamana, the officiating priest. Thou art the grain. Thou art the sacrificial animal. The Yajaka, the householder requesting the priest to perform the sacrifice. Thou art the Advaryu, the presiding priest. Thou art the Udgata, the singer of the Saman hymns. Now, they're talking about all of the individual actors in a ritual, in a Vedic
the
fire
parts to be
sacrifice.
played are.
Yeah. Thou art the sacrifice. Thou art the Purushottama, the best among men. This is the primal or supernal man, I would say. Thou art the quarters, the netherworlds, the earth, the sky, the heaven. Thou art the creator of stars.
Here again, we're getting into this association with Vishnu, with the universe, like the visibles.
The physical
thing.
universe.
Yeah.
Whatever mobile or immobile in the universe is seen among the devas, beasts, or mankind, O Lord, the cosmic egg, the entire universe, all these are only thy forms. They are manifest to the eyes, O God, O Lord, the supreme Brahman. You are inaccessible even to gods. Who is competent to comprehend that pure, imperishable Purusha, accessible to yogins, the unmanifest, the unborn, the unchanging? So again, to yogins again, 38, right? Another reference to yoga. We've sort of been developing this interest in how yoga is seen and depicted in the Puranas and how that differs from sort of contemporary conception of yoga. So 38 again, who is competent to comprehend that pure, imperishable Purusha, accessible to yogins, the unmanifest, the unborn, the unchanging. Who is competent? He is devoid. It's actually a question there in the midst of all of this. There's been a little shift in the, He is devoid of annihilation and origin. He is all-pervading. He is the Lord. He is omniscient. He is divested of three gunas. He is pure bliss. He is unaging. He is the greatest.
So the thou arts quit with 34.
Yeah.
After that, it was something else.
Yeah.
So what is it? Verse
38 was the rhetorical question.
Right.
Who's competent to comprehend this thing that yogins understand? Then it's he is devoid of out. He is all pervading. He is. Okay, so that's 39. Then from 40 it goes to, O Lord, thou art consciousness, the permanent, the quiescent, the complete, the unbifurcated, the unwasting. In the incarnations many of thy forms are seen, but unable to comprehend thy real greatness. The heaven dwellers go on adoring thee in whatever manner they conceive. O Purushottama, how can I know such a subtle being as thou art? So not being able to understand, they go on adoring him. Just
sure.
You just love him because you can't understand him.
Well, that's what Lion always said. It's not necessary to understand. It's enough to adore.
Yeah, well, there you go. O Purushottama, how can I know such a subtle thing as thou art? 43. The vibhutis, the various manifestations, such as sankarshana, etc., have been adored by me by means of flowers, incense, etc. If there's any defect in it, be pleased to forgive my omissions and commissions. I am incompetent.
Oh, so this is a
puja. Yeah. Yeah. It kind of is. It wasn't set up in advance of this. It's seems to have come, unless we're just moving into now. It occurs often late in the ritual, like when you leave a coin for Ganesh for anything you might have forgotten to include in the offering that would be important.
Right.
It's like go buy yourself something.
Nice.
They're gods, but you have to relate to them somehow.
Yeah.
So you humanize them,
right.
But it's, if there be any defect in it, be pleased to forgive my omissions and commissions. I'm incompetent. Perform thy pujas laid down in shastras in an orderly manner. Whatever japa, homa, etc. have been performed by me, O Purushottama, cannot be successfully concluded with true devotion. Hence I crave thy pardon. By day or night, during dusk and dawn, in all states, whatever I do, may my devotion be steady, O Hari, in thy feet. I have no such love towards the physical body or ritualistic activities as I have, in an exclusive form, towards thee, O Lord of the universe.
Very nice.
What sacred rite conducive to heaven and salvation has not been performed by him who has firm devotion towards Vishnu, the dispenser of fruits of all cherished desires? O Achyuta, who is capable of performing thy worship or eulogizing thee properly? Anyhow, I have eulogized and adored you. Please forgive obeisance to thee. Thus I have narrated to you the hymn of Chakradhara.
So that was the end of it at 50.
I'm just backing out of the room with apologies.
Right. That was it.
Thus I have narrated to you the hymn of Chakradhara. O sage, if you wish to attain the great status, eulogize Vishnu with devotion. He who eulogizes the preceptor of the universe by means of this hymn at the time of adoration attains salvation ere long, breaking off the fetters of worldly existence. Even in the age of Kali, he who recites this hymn with great devotion thrice every day with physical and mental purity shall realize all his desires. The devotee desirous of bonds shall beget sons, the imprisoned shall be freed from bondage, the sick devotee shall be cured of his ailments, the indigent shall be affluent, the seeker of learning shall acquire knowledge, fame, and renown, the intelligent shall be able to remember his previous birth and shall get whatever he thinks of. He who eulogizes Purushottama shall be truthful in his statements, pure and liberal-minded. The unblessed shall turn out to be omniscient and intelligent. The indecent shall be transformed into one who performs all holy rites. Those who do not engage themselves in holy rites with Hari as the object of devotion can never be pure in conduct. They are to be banished from all religious rites. He who has no unflinching devotion to Vishnu, who grants all riches, shall never benefit from purificatory rites of mind and speech. He is wicked. A man who propitiates the Lord Hari duly, who grants all happiness, shall obtain whatever he wishes for. He has the primordial deity, the Siddha, who has achieved everything, who is meditated upon by all sages. He is the witness into all who knows whatever there is in any heart. He is unborn. He is nectar. He is free from fear and death. He is eternal. He is bliss. I bow unto that, Vasudeva. I adore with the flowers of mental conception the Lord of all worlds, the eternal, the delighted, the pure, the untarnished, devoid of the three gunas, and the delighter of everyone. May the sentient soul, the witness of everything, enter the lotus of my heart, the inner feelings of my soul. Thus I have narrated the greatness of the Supreme Vishnu, who has neither beginning nor end. Hence the great Lord is to be duly meditated upon by a man on the way to salvation. Who is the yogin who does not merge himself in the Supreme Brahman after meditating upon Vishnu without a parallel? the unconsciousness in form, the ancient Purusha, resplendent like the sun, the unsullied, the pure. The man who constantly reads this hymn and remains pure and quiet can wash off his sins and shall attain the extensive region of the Lord, with his influence spreading all round. He who seeks wealth, unlimited pleasure, virtue, love, and salvation can cast off everything and seek refuge in Vishnu, the ancient, the excellent. He who has abjured all association with worldly objects and seeks refuge in Vasudeva, the pure, the all-pervading, the Lord, the supporter of the universe, the pure, and the cause of the destruction of all worldly objects.
And the creation, I would point out, but that's another thing altogether. Well, very interesting. It got a little preachy at the end, but it was very interesting in many ways. I thought it was especially interesting how they were sort of going through this approach and then self-identifying with him, telling him who he was, then going through sort of
that's an interesting one when you're telling God who you are, who he is.
Yeah,
you are the it's sort of more like telling God you know who he is.
Well, you're
I've
saying,
got your number.
I recognize you in this. I recognize you in this.
And it's also the voice of the sages, the voice of the ancients, through this text.
Right. But it starts out by "Hail to thee," and then the appellation.
Yes.
Then it goes "Thou art," and it talks about who thou art, and it goes through a whole bunch of stories in the "Thou art," and then it goes "He is." Was the next phase, and then finally that was. It's like we've gone through the present, we're in the past now. And then the prayer
then the prayer comes.
And there was actually a second stanza that I thought sounded prayer-like in that 61.
I adore with the flowers of mental conception the Lord of all worlds, the eternal, the delighted, the pure, the untarnished, devoid of the three gunas, and the delighter of everyone. May the sentient soul, the witness of everything, enter the lotus of my heart, the inner feelings of my soul. Thus I have narrated the greatness of the Supreme Vishnu. Yeah,
but especially just that stanza.
It does sort of stand alone. Yeah, it sort of stands alone there. I like I adore with the flowers of mental conception. Sort of. In Hindu ritual, often it's literal flowers, usually bought from some person sitting outside the temple with baskets of flowers. You buy a few, you go in, you give them to the god. But okay,
you really can't give God anything they don't already own. But
well, I know. I mean, this is the self-conscious kind of Leela, if you will, the game that, the gods first give us a net of illusion, and, even if they give you a path to realization, how do you act towards something that is beyond beginning and end without gunas and all of that, cup of tea? I mean, essentially that's what it comes down to. Just treat them like an honored guest, you treat them, and they will recognize the intention in your heart, perhaps, if you act it out. Maybe you'll see it too. Maybe that's more the point.
This is what a lot of these behaviors, like putting fruit on the altar, putting beverages, or just plain water. And I think a lot of the it looks like a lot of the ancient offerings that were done in places like Britain. I've been reading. I just finished a book on Neolithic structures, an analysis of them worldwide. And it was saying that the thing that they noticed in common was that there was burials and then offerings to the people, we assume that were buried there. The offerings often went on for a while.
You mean the list of things that they found? Or?
Well, they would often find that there was a long period of time, like 300 or 400 years, where these offerings were given.
Oh, I see. So it was shrines or temples that persisted for
yeah,
quite a
they
long
persisted as places you honored the ancestors,
time.
even after they weren't being used anymore as a place to put them.
Mm.
And the behavior
Were they burying?
became a habit or
Were they
something.
like burying bodies, or were they?
Well, and it depends on what we're talking about. He was talking
I
about
guess
this
different.
phenomenon worldwide,
Yeah.
but in Britain, certainly they're like near Avebury, uh, on the other side of Silbury Mound. There's a common grave situation that you can go inside of. It's called um, West Kennet, I think it is, Long Barrow, and I've been there.
A common grave that you can go inside and
You
out.
can actually go inside now. They've excavated it and restored the front of it. So
Was it bodies or ashes, or what were
it
they?
was bodies initially, and then when they began to come apart, they would take them apart and they would put the bones in certain parts of it. So the skulls were in one place, and all the leg bones together, and all the arm bones together. So you couldn't really find an individual easily because they were scattered. But
the individuals were, but the parts were sorted nicely.
there's a twin barrow that's never been opened. So at some time in the future, they can go there and open the other one. If they
get on it.
Well, these are all over Britain. It's like it's you can't spit without finding something like this.
Can't swing a dead cat.
But East Kennet, I went there too, and the only thing digging in East Kennet is a badger. And so he might turn something up, but other than that, I have no clue for you about what's there. But it's a long barrow, just like the one that they have restored, and like people like to go in the one that they've restored and burn candles and stuff. So it's like I could see where they hadn't treated the site with very much respect. Like, this is a really old place. It's a Neolithic Britain. So this is before bronze, before copper culture. It's getting back there. There was some gold work.
Have we drifted?
We've drifted way off. But anyway, it's just interesting. I think this honoring of the ancestors is really an important component.
Yeah, well, and that's that is one of the themes of the Garuda Purana, and since we're studying the Garuda Purana, it's important to see how much of it has been about the ancestors, and Vishnu is the Pitris. Vishnu, that was mentioned in this section. All right, let's call it a night.
All right.